What's going on, everybody? I got a good one for you today. We're going to do a restoration, if you will, on a cold air intake. This is a JLT, I believe Series 3 intake, cold air intake for the 2005 to 2009 Mustang GT. That's our project car. So now this is obviously pulled from a car that was wrecked. These are pretty expensive, I think $300, somewhere between $300 and $400, and I got a really good deal on it. But as you can see, it's got some, bumps and scratches and wear. It's faded, the filter's dirty. So I want to see what would happen if we try to restore this to what it looks like when it was brand new. So, and obviously this will work for any cold air intake, but for me, this is what we're doing. So, first thing we're going to use is the Canon Recharger Kit. Everybody online is using this, so I said, why not go with what people keep using? This cleans the filter, but it also oils the filter. And the reason you want to oil the filter is it puts a little layer of oil, which helps catch the very small particles. If you don't oil it, it'll still work, but you have the chance of sucking in dust and stuff like that, and why not be safe with it? This is a massive filter, so I think we'll get enough air even if we have a little layer of oil. So we're going to go ahead and run the cleaner through it, and I'll show you that process. And we're also going to clean this whole guy. And then after it's clean, the plastic part anyway, I'm going to try and use this trim and plastic restore from Mother's. It's a back to black. In other words, it takes this and it kind of puts a layer of oil and cleans it up. And yeah, so the mission here is to see how close to brand new we can make this thing. And at that point, I would have got this for half the price, maybe a little bit less than half the price of what it would have been new. So the first step is to disassemble it, and then we're going to clean it. For the filter, we're going to follow the cleaning stuff here. For everything else, we're just going to wash it with some mild dish soap and do that. So let's go ahead and knock out the disassembly. Alright, there we are. For the plastic parts of this, I'm going to go ahead and just wash them with dish soap. So I'm not gonna film that because it's essentially me just wiping it down and running some water through it. I will film the filter part because this is going to be a little bit specific to what the Canon kit tells you to do. So we're going to do that. I'll actually do that here, and then I'll explain that process. So right now I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I'll be right back with these parts washed with some dish soap. Alright guys, so I cleaned them all up. If you notice, there's a good amount of scratches on this, which I'd be curious to see what that back to black does to those scratches, but I don't know if my hopes are that high that it's gonna look that great. But we'll see. Maybe it'll do something special. So I have the back to black Mother stuff, and I also have a new microfiber cloth. It doesn't have to be new, but I would make sure it's clean, because if you spray this stuff on here and you have junk all over your towel, it's probably going to embed and harden on there, and it's just going to make it look crappy. I mean, this isn't perfectly clean. There's some dust on it, which I can see right now, but we'll see how it goes. I put down plastic because I don't feel like making too much of a mess, and we're going to see. So you're supposed to shake this stuff up, spray, I think it's, 6 to 8 inches, now 5 to 6 inches, and then buff it around, make sure it's all over there, and you can do additional coats if you need. I don't know that I'm going to do additional coats, but if you do, you're supposed to wait 15 minutes in between each one. So that's frustrating. The little nozzle came off. Huh. Interesting. Okay. So let's see what the stuff looks like. Supposed to do overlapping coats, kind of like you're painting it. And you're supposed to do small areas at a time because you don't want it to harden in between. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I'll do this one, and then I'm just going to fast motion it just to see, what, to get through it, so you guys don't have to sit here for 10 minutes watching me. Okay, so I finished the first coat, and it actually looks pretty good. It makes me kind of want to do a second coat. I don't know if you can see that shininess right there. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's a couple blemishes on here that look a little funky. Like that scratched up area is right here, and it definitely looks better, but I don't know that it looks perfect. So that's something. I'm surprised. This is very shiny plastic on the backside here, and I was thinking maybe it wouldn't absorb it or, polish it up, but it surprisingly did. This is easily the best looking part of the whole thing now because it looks almost brand new. A little scratch here, but other than that, it looks pretty solid. So that's pretty awesome. I think I'll do a second coat just for, why not? But first we're going to jump into the filter cleaning. So that's going to be the Recharge Kit. Now this has air filter cleaner and air filter oil. So I'm going to run through the instructions. It says apply the cleaner, rinse the filter, and dry the filter. So I think it'd be wise to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and put it outside in the sun while we do the second coat of this. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this cleaner on it and rinse the filter. I'm going to do that off camera because I don't have any way to set the camera up where I'm doing it. I'm just going to do it in the sink. But just to give you an overview, I'm going to simple. Take the cleaner, and it says, apparently it doesn't have instructions on here. I guess you just read the box instructions. You're just going to spray it all over the filter. So spray it up and down, make sure it's nice and clean. And one tip is the way that air comes into the engine is from here, not from here. So it flows into the filter and through the tube. So you're going to want to spray the cleaner on the outside and then spray the water on the inside. And the reason for that is the dirt is embedded in the filter this way. So we spray the cleaner on the outside, it's going to spray directly on the dirt, and then the water pressure coming in this way is going to push the dirt back out the way it came, rather than try to force it through the filter. That's the way to do it. So I'm going to spray it down, put some somewhat high pressure, maybe just like a sink sprayer, high pressure through it, see if it gets clean. I'm going to put it out in the sun to dry, and then I'll do the oiling here so you can see that. But yeah, let me go do that, and I'll be right back. Then we'll do a second coat of this, and we'll almost be done. Alright guys, I just got done with the cleaning part of the filter. It actually took a little bit longer than I thought. I wish I would have videotaped it. I can't describe how much dirt was in there. That was crazy, and that cleaner did its job. Cleaner kind of stinks, but the best way to describe it is it smells like a degreaser. If you've ever used one of those strong, like industrial degreasers, that's what it smells like. But the dirt just poured out of it once I sprayed it down with that cleaner. I let it sit for maybe a minute, and then I sprayed it with hot water from the sink. There was like thickness, like almost like mud in the sink when I was doing it. And the filter looked dirty, but it didn't look like it had that much in it. It took me a good 5 to 10 minutes to spray it all out. But that stuff seems to be pretty good. So now we're going to do a quick fast motion and do this a second time, see what it looks like, and then we'll wait till that filter dries. I have it outside in the sun. I made sure there's no more soap in it, and then we're going to go ahead and spray a thin layer of the oil on, and then it'll be ready for installation. So let's go ahead and knock this out. Okay, I don't know if you saw that in the fast motion, but this fell. Good thing is there's nothing, it's a piece of plastic, there's no sensors or plugs or anything on it, so nothing broke. Might have got another scratch, but no big deal. I had some overspray on this hose, and this has, I believe this has oils and stuff in it. So I don't think it's a big deal that it got on there, but I don't know. I got some on, so I figured I'd just spray it a little bit. Looks nicer. This little trim piece, kind of a sealer for this. Also had some overspray on it, so I figured, why not? Let's just hit it a little bit. I think the oils it'll be fine. The only thing that this doesn't really do that well is the scratches. I don't know how well those are showing on a camera. I would think you would probably have to buff this anyway to remove the actual damage, but I think this looks a lot better. I would recommend that. Now I will say that this can, I don't know, like the sprayer's all messed up on it. It starts like dripping everywhere and stuff, which is kind of annoying. And there are other products that do the same thing. But what's nice about this is I used maybe 1/3 of the can, so I could probably go around the Mustang and hit all the trim pieces and, you know, clean them up. So I might actually do that. But now I'm going to do some final touch-up cleaning, reassemble it, and wait for the filter to dry, and then we'll do the recharge oil, and then we'll see what it looks like all together. So stay tuned. Alright guys, so a couple notes, things I've learned while doing this. Be careful. The first thing is when you wash it, spray the stuff on the cleaner and let it sit for like 5 to 10 minutes. I didn't do that, and I think it might even have made it a little more clean if I would have done that. What that does is it kind of saturates the dirt and allows it to come out easier. So that's one thing. Let it sit there. Don't let it sit for half an hour, because then it'll harden and then you'll have a tough time getting it out. The next thing is I thought this was dry. It's been outside for half hour, an hour, something like that. Maybe even longer, I don't know. And I touched it and I thought it was dry. But to be sure, I took the shop vac and I stuck it on the blow side, so it was blowing out high pressure air. And I stuck it on the inside of the filter, and the amount of water that came out was kind of scary. If I would have stuck this on the car and sucked that in, I mean, I don't know, there was a lot of water. That's dangerous. You don't want to hydro lock your car, send water into the, inside of the engine. That's not good for it. It could potentially mess your engine up pretty bad. So I would be sure it's clean. And then the other thing is when you spray this oil on, the oil is actually color coded. This is the red type, I believe. I think you can get black and maybe even blue oil. You want to spray it on. Don't go too crazy with it, but make sure it's coated. And then you want to let it sit for at least 20 minutes, it says, before running your car. So why don't we go ahead and do that now. We'll spray this on. Now I'm going to be doing another video right away on the X-pipe install as well as this install, so it's going to take me longer than 20 minutes to do those. So I'm not worried about the 20-minute thing, but if you're in a rush, don't go throwing it on without making sure it's dry and giving it some time for the oil to set in. So again, just spray a good layer on here. I'll try to film myself spraying it, and then we can see what it looks like all together then. Alright, now let's throw this back together and we'll see how it looks. Now of course this is not dry yet. I'm wiping down the plastic, I'm not wiping down the actual filter. I just don't want too much oil all over the place. Now there it is. It is all done. As restored as I can. You'll notice some oil sitting there. That's going to absorb into the filter as it sits. But if not, I'll hit it with some compressed air to let it suck into the filter. But one thing you don't want to do is put too much oil on, because you have a sensor here, and if that oil goes in and coats your sensor, you could get bad readings from that. You might get a check engine light. So, and another thing is, if you are throwing a tune on, or I'm sorry, a cold air intake on your car, you are going to want to make sure that you have a tune. Most of them, anyone that's worth its time requires a tune, in my opinion. Because if it doesn't require a tune, that means it's not allowing much more air than stock into the engine. And then really, what's the point? This will recalibrate everything so that it can accept more airflow, which is exactly what you need, especially if you're doing exhaust, because you're having more air exit. You want to be able to allow more air in, so you get a good even flow, and you'll get your performance increase. But that's my restore. I'm pretty pleased with it. I think everything's good. Like I said, I'll probably shop vac this, spray some air into it just to saturate the oil a little bit better. But yeah, so next video you will see is going to be the X-pipe install, and then also this install, and then we'll do some exhaust runs. So if you guys aren't subscribed yet, what are you doing? Let's get this going, guys, because this build is just starting and it's going to get crazy. My mission is to show that the 3-valve is still alive, still an option, and even though everybody's going Coyote, you can get into one of these cars relatively cheap, put a little bit of money into them, and still be spending half, maybe a quarter of what people are spending on a Coyote, and still in the 400 to 500 horsepower range. So that's my mission then, and we'll see if we want to go more than that. But if you want to be a part of that, stay tuned. Keep watching them, like them, share them, throw them on your Facebook page. Share them with your friends. Show them, hey, somebody's building a 3-valve out here, and we're going to make it loud and fast. So until the next one, guys, make sure you watch it. Make sure you subscribe and share it. See you guys.